is what's really important, I think.
I know there are people who have done keto for some time, but then they started to get a lot of fatigue and they weren't feeling good. And then once they add carbs back into their diet, all of a sudden it's like they perk up, they feel great, and they're maintaining great weight. So what do you say about that, about this kind of flexibility that some people believe is important?
Right. So this is what happens is when you eliminate carbohydrates, along goes all the water loss. And this is why a lot of people get very excited because they do keto and they're like, oh, I lost 5 pounds in a week. Yay. A lot of it's water loss. So don't get too excited. But that retention is good to get rid of. But with all that water loss, sometimes you'll get almost depression or low moods, but you have heavy legs walking upstairs. Your energy is terrible. And it's not that keto is causing that. It's because you're not eating the carbohydrates anymore. And just by drinking more water, you're not going to retain it because you're not eating carbohydrates. This is where electrolytes are very important. So bringing in that sodium and extra potassium. And it's hard for some people because they've been told sodium and potassium, like never take that. That's bad for you, eliminate the sodium. But it's really important on the ketogenic diet and carnivore lifestyle to add in more sodium, because all the foods that we're eating, they don't have salt, right? Eggs don't have salt. Like you have to be very cognizant of adding sodium in, because bread has a lot of sodium. Desserts, that a McDonald's milkshake has more sodium than a French fry does?
Wow.
Yeah, so a lot of desserts have a lot of sodium. Bread has a lot, like a lot of the packaged foods have so much, cereal has sodium. So when you're eliminating all of those foods, you can't just salt your food. That's not enough. So like I usually do salt capsules, especially before bedtime, because it'll help you to sleep. But there's things like Element or other electrolytes that you can just drink. They taste really great. But I also would say there are some people that have added in electrolytes and they still feel bad. In that case, I would have them get their iron tested, because excessive iron levels, which can happen on the carnivore lifestyle, especially in men. I do recommend like adding in copper when they're eating steak, things like that, to help balance the absorption of iron out. But too much iron can also cause those same symptoms. So it's important to know your numbers, because maybe your iron is way too high and you should be donating blood or plasma, that thing, because that can also cause that low energy, heavy legs walking upstairs, just not feeling well. So, knowing your numbers is really important too.
So your favorite form of adding electrolytes is the salt capsules?
Well, I do that before bed. Element. Okay. Yeah. Element is a drink. I have it right. The box is right there. They have, raspberry. They have unflavored if you don't want any sweetener, which is fine. But they have raspberry salt, and my kids love like the grapefruit salt, or they do like a chocolate. So if you want like a little hot chocolate, it's kind of an interesting way to get your electrolytes in.
Okay. Okay. That's great.